Hello everyone, my name is Saran and welcome to my channel, The Overcomer. Now we all have trials that we go through from time to time in our lives. This COVID-19 pandemic is no different. Although it's on a global scale, it is still something that is impacting us in our daily lives, in our personal life. And we all have those times in our life where we have to navigate through storms and navigate through struggles and trials to get to the other side. So what I decided to do with this channel, I decided I'm going to start it now to help you impart to you some of the techniques that I would have used in my own personal struggles in my own life, and there have been some. So I've decided to impart some of the learnings that I would have learned in my own struggles to you at this particular time to help you in any which way that I can get through to the other side of this storm. So let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Have a good day, whatever time you're tuning into this message. My name is Saran, and this is actually something very new that I decided to do. I decided to start this YouTube channel, particularly at this time. It is now May 2020. It's now the beginning of May 2020, and we are well into some months of COVID-19, this global pandemic that we're going through, right? And the reality of it is that this is a serious situation. A lot of people are really feeling the brunt of this pandemic, whether you are personally impacted by the disease itself, right, and you or your loved one are feeling it personally in that way through the actual sickness, or you're feeling the economic impact of it. I know for me personally, because of the nature of my business, I am feeling the economic impact of it, right? But I wanted to take this opportunity to share some love, right, and to share some motivation, inspiration, and to share some learnings, things that I have learned from various crises that I have gone through in my personal life, right? I felt that I have learned so much and passed through so much that, it really would be remiss of me not to do something to in any which way that I could to reach out at this particular time to anyone out there. If it reached one person, it reached plenty, just to share some of the things that have personally helped me pass through crisis, right? Because the fact is we're in a crisis right now, a global crisis. Yes. So I am now, I would say, going into about 3.5 years into a series of crises that took place in my life. I would say it started around 2016. I would say that's where the crash hit. And when I say crash, I'm not talking about a physical car crash. Those things that just happen in your life. Everything is going fine. You have a good job, husband is happy, children are happy, and things seem to be going very well. Your plans are falling into place. You're working hard and you're seeing results. And things have been like that for me. Things had been like that for me for quite some time. So the truth is, I had gotten used to that. I had gotten used to that flow, that zen flow of everything happening, and it was progress and everything was happening well until what I like to call the event, right? It happened in 2016, and it was basically, without going too much into what happened, it was basically like something crashed into my life. So picture yourself moving down a highway, you're there, you're singing your Kelly Clarkson or your Katy Perry or whatever it is that you like to listen to, and things are going nice, and then bam, there's a crash, right? And there's that sudden impact, and there's not much that you can do to prevent it, right? So, but from that first crash, a series of events that it somehow seemed to open some sort of gateway to a series of what many would call unfortunate events that would have spiraled in my life. And I'm now into, so I would say, going on the 4th year, about 3.5 years since this all started, right? So there's a lot that I learned in the last 3.5 years, right? Let me tell you. First things is that I learned that the only constant is change, right? Which is something that we know in our heads. We know the only constant is change, but when change actually comes home, It's like, what is going on? What did I do? Did I do something to bring this on? And the more you think about it, it's like, no, I didn't do anything to bring this on. Because sometimes things just happen. Things just come to you. Things just land in your lap for you to deal with, right? It's not any fault of yours or anything like that. Like this COVID-19, this is not, the whole world is feeling this is not any particular person's fault, in terms of what has happened. But it is something that is here, and it is something for us to address seriously and something for us to deal with, right? So we now have to be able to navigate these things in our personal lives so we can come out on the other side, right? Because that was my focus. If it's one thing that was my focus during this whole stormy period, was how do I get to the next level? How do I get to the other side of this, right? Because this is not intended to be permanent. I knew that from the get-go. This is a season that has hit me, right? And it is not supposed to be permanent. So how do I get to the other side stronger? Like, that was my focus, right? And the first thing I want to start with is with the first thing that I did, right? Whether or not you acknowledge God or whatever term you may have for him, I'm talking about the power, right? The infinite source of everything that created the universe. That power, I call it God because I'm a Christian. I call him God, and I have a personal relationship with him. What I did in that moment of distress, there was a moment of distress, right? And many of you who could relate to what I'm talking about, you would know, or you would maybe remember or recall that there's a single moment of just distress, right? Where you just cry out, right? You're not really thinking, like, I do not know what to do. I do not know how to handle this. I am at my wit's end, right? And all you could really do is cry out, right? So this particular video is about that distress call, right? It is a distress call where you basically lay yourself bare. There's nothing that I can do at this moment to help, and there's nothing I can think of in this particular moment to help me out of this. I need divine guidance and I need divine intervention, right? Because even when you're thinking of your various strategies of what you could do, you needed to work, right? The situation is so grave, it is so serious that whatever strategy I employ, whatever action that I take right now to deal with this problem, it has to work, Father. Right? It has to work, God. So I need all the resources of heaven in this. And that's what I'm talking about. I want to encourage you, if you are in such a moment, you just don't know what to do, right? You may be thinking of a variety of people say, do this, do that, because there are many voices around. Lots of noise and confusion during distress, right? So you can't really think straight, right? There'll be lots of noises around, and you may be thinking of all these different things that I can do. But the point is, yes, all of these things are available now for me to do, but I need this strategy to work. If this doesn't work, then I don't know what's going to happen, right? So if you are in a distress call, if you are in distress, I encourage you to make the distress call, right? And make it with everything that even if all you can do is cry. Sometimes we can't even say, just cry out, right? You may not be able to say words. I can't even, there was one particular night, early morning, I couldn't even muster the words to say. The situation was so grave, it was so serious, it really could have impacted my life and my family's life. And so I didn't even have the words to say. And all I could have done was cry out. I remember holding my son. He was sleeping on the bed at the time, and I came home just in distress. I couldn't believe what was going on. And I just held my son. I started to rock. I just held my son. And I started to rock back and forth, back and forth. And in that moment, I cried out. That was my distress call. And it's like, help me, God. I need you to help me right now. And I think I said, so in those moments, what we are really doing is we are acknowledging the power of God. Right? Make no mistake, in a crisis, you are going to need the power of God on your side. You are going to need the intervention of the Almighty, right? So because whatever it is that you decide to do has to yield results. It has to yield results, right? The people that are in that situation, those are the people I'm speaking to right now. Yes, you're in a situation, I don't know what to do, but whatever it is I choose to do has to yield results. So you need to hear from God. It is very urgent. So the distress call I'm talking about is an urgent cry out to God that is pure. And what you find in those sorts of prayers, those prayers yield miracles. Those are powerful prayers because they're not just empty words, you see. You're not just saying words because you were taught how to pray in school, or you know what to say, God bless my family, thank you for the food. It's a genuine, heartfelt cry out to God in distress. And that is what this video is about. I'm encouraging you to make that cry, make that distress call if you need it. Yes, and from that distress call, I will post some other videos as to what happens when heaven gets involved in a situation. Yes, because there are certain prayers that reaches the ears and the throne of God, and what to expect and what really happens when God stands up and heaven gets involved. It's like it's like nothing that you'll ever experience, but it's all for good. It's all for good. I had some major victories, major victories. I saw miracles. I had major struggles, but out of those struggles came victories, came really miraculous victories. I will get into the miraculous healing of my son. I was pregnant and my son was diagnosed with a condition, but I will save that for another video, and I will get into the miraculous healing of my son. Right? But the point of this video is to acknowledge your Father, whether you did before or not. Right? Whether you have doubts or you have questions or whatever, you're in a crisis, you go to God. Don't let anybody sway you from your victory, from seeing the miracles that will happen when God really intervenes. And yes, He will deal with us. He dealt with me personally as well. While He was working on my situation, He was also dealing with certain issues with me, right? And that could be painful, but He is still working on your situation, and you will see victory and you will come out. So first things first, make that distress call, whether you did it before or not, whether you believe the preachers is thief your money or not, whatever it is. Don't let anybody else's poor choices keep you from having that relationship for yourself, that relationship with divinity itself. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about the men that pervert everything and actually, claim to do the will of God and live. They basically live a double life. Those people have their reward coming to them, but you don't let those things deter you from going directly to the throne and making that distress call, and you just watch what happens in your life. Once it's coming from a real place and you need genuine help and you cry out in distress, those prayers are powerful prayers, people. Okay, so that's what I'm going to leave you with for now, for today. I'm going to continue posting as to what happens after the distress call. I made notes, step-by-step notes of everything. I basically chronicled the last 3.5 years because it was just so fantastic. It was incredible, the things that happened. So I'm going to do that, and I wish you peace, right, in this time. Stay safe, stay centered, stay connected, stay home. Right? Except if you're an essential worker, then God bless you. You're going out there to fight the good fight. But if you don't need to go out there, stay home as directed by the authorities. Yes, and I will see you in the next video.